What I'm here kind of to do today is I'm a part of Dove's Men Care body wash and deodorant product line is running a campaign here for the NCAA tournament. It's called My Journey to Comfort. It's kind of goes into my background, some of the adversities that I faced, my car accident, and moving on in life to being a family person, someone that is actively involved in my kids' lives, and is coaching also right now at Wagner College with my brother Dan. So it's kind of a family thing that we're doing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually my wife and I are going to have our first child at the end of April. So
that's exciting, right? That's good stuff.
Yeah,
you got your work ahead of you. You got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to start with a couple questions.
Okay.
Your father, Bob Hurley Sr., he's pretty much a legend in his own right, amassing 23 state championships and over 1,000 wins as head coach of St. Anthony High School in New Jersey.
Yep.
You played under your father, winning 4 consecutive state titles from 1985 to 1989. What role did your dad play in not only preparing you physically, but mentally in approaching the game, and how did that carry over in your success at Duke under Coach K?
Yeah, it was huge. I grew up in a family, that basketball was very important. My dad was coaching as I was growing up. I was a ball boy. I did statistics. I was constantly around his players, so I learned the game, from being in the gym with him. I grew up in the city, so I think I developed toughness from that, and that definitely carried over and helped me when I was in tough spots in big games, when I went on and played at Duke.
Do you feel your dad's coaching philosophy was similar to Mike Krzyzewski's or different, and if so, in what regard?
I think that the one common denominator, was their passion for the game, how much they loved the game. In addition to that, I think how they value defense and how important that is. Most guys love to play the offensive end of the floor, but my dad and Coach K demand that you play at the defensive end and take a lot of pride in that. So those are definitely two areas I think that they were very similar.
Mm-hmm. And do you think Duke's going to make another run this year and bring back another championship to Cameron?
Well, they definitely, it hurt when they lost Kyrie Irving. He's a very talented freshman and a guy that would have added another dimension to their team. But they still have Nolan Smith and Kyle Singler, 2 guys that, that helped them win a national championship last year, that are back and I'm sure are going to be ready to play when tournament time rolls around. And no one does a better job than Coach K than managing the season and getting his team to play its best in March.
Yeah, I think Nolan, he's had a tear this year.
He is.
He's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I've really liked his game even early in his career at Duke when he wasn't, as prominent a role on the team, but he could really get to the rim and finish, and has really done all the little things too. Assists. He's addressed a lot of areas for their team this year.
Yeah. And I have to ask this one. After defeating St. John's in the Midwest Regional and advancing to the Final Four in Indianapolis,
yep.
Your Blue Devil squad found itself once again facing the undefeated, top-ranked UNLV Running Rebels with National Player of the Year Larry Johnson.
Yes.
How sweet was it to avenge the 30-point loss your team suffered the previous year in the national championship game?
Yeah, there wasn't a worse feeling that I had as a player than that loss to UNLV. It was very embarrassing for me. So to have another opportunity at UNLV the following year to redeem myself, to play the kind of game that I felt like I was capable of playing. I brought a lot of toughness to that game, and our team was well prepared. Coach K did a tremendous job of putting in a good game plan against them. They were definitely the most talented team that I saw in my 4 years at Duke, and to beat an undefeated team that people considered invincible, and it was really a special thing. And then to go on and finish the job by beating Kansas in the national championship game was a tremendous feeling.
Okay. How was that playing alongside Christian Leitner and Grant Hill, particularly that pretty much the full court pass that stunned about everybody watching. What was it like on the floor at that moment?
Well, it was great. We had, great chemistry on the floor. Both Grant and Christian had very high basketball IQs, really knew how to play, very easy to play with. Grant in particular, for a guy that was 6'8", could really dribble and handle the basketball like a guard and had great instincts. So, he made my life a lot easier having a chance to play with him. And Christian was just, always had the knack for making big shots and was really a warrior down low for us and, a big part of our success.
Little question and concern to this year's tournament. With the Big Dance Fest approaching, what teams do you foresee reaching this year's Final Four, and who do you feel is the favorite to cut down the net on April 4th in Houston?
Yep. For me, it's wide open. I think this year, more than a lot of others, there hasn't been a team, in my opinion, that's really separated themselves from the rest of the pack. So I think there's a lot of teams out there that think that if they're playing well at the right time, that they have a real shot, and I think they should. But if I had to guess a couple of teams, Texas, for me, coming out of the Big 12, a really good conference. Just a talented group of players, a lot of good young players. If they get things going, they could be tough to beat. A team from the Big East, one of the teams that proved themselves throughout the course of the year in a brutally tough conference. You would have to like their chances, especially Pittsburgh, that really defends well and do that every game. And if you do that, you put yourself in a position to win. So maybe those two teams right now would be, two choices for me.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see that. Now, you are the all-time leading assist man in NCAA history. I actually did not know that until recently. And of all the great point guards that have come through and, just the history of NCAA basketball, how does that feel just to be that guy? I mean, just to be the guy with that type of court vision, because a point guard is really, really a quarterback of the team. What does that feel like just to be in the company, of the all-time greats?
No, it's great. I always approached the game where I enjoyed being a part of a scoring basket, and playing unselfishly. I was taught as a young guy growing up that, that's how a point guard should play. To get the ball and guys, two guys in position to score, and as a point guard, you gotta make your big guys happy. You have to pass the rock. So that was something I always took a lot of pride in. And there have been a lot of great players that have come through. I stayed 4 years and consistently put up good numbers in assists. And I'm sure there would have been other guys like Jason Kidd and different players that have come through that if they would have stayed the 4 years, that they would have challenged that number. But I'm proud that I was able to accomplish that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you think of all the greats. I mean, Oscar Robertson, Maravich. I mean, some of these guys with great core vision. Magic Johnson. Of course, he left early, but I mean, still.
And I was in a great system playing at Duke for Coach K. He really lets his players play. I had a chance to play with guys like Grant Hill and Christian Leitner and Thomas Hill and all these guys that could finish. There's no assist that takes place unless there's someone that can make a shot. So that was, real important as well.
Yeah, definitely. From the standpoint of, advice to young point guards, whether they're, ninth graders or kids getting ready to go off to college next year, what would you say, to a young point guard that's going to be watching the games in March? What advice would you give them? And do you think there's a particular player out there that, at that position, that's really going to make a stamp on the tournament?
Well, Fredette, obviously from BYU, is a guy that's had a great season. He's got an incredible knack, for scoring the basketball, maybe more, than being an assist guy. But he's overall just has a tremendous feel for the game. I think he's, He's going to be someone that's going to be fun to watch in the NCAA tournament from the guard position. And I just think, being a great point guard, it encompasses a lot of things. You have to be an extension of your coach on the floor. You have to be very tough. You're going to be challenged. You have to be ready for the challenge. The only statistic that matters is wins and losses as a point guard. But you have to have a good all-around game. You have to be able to shoot the basketball. You got to be able to get in the lane and find people. So you have to be very well-rounded.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking of Kendall Marshall, who's kind of stepped into a new role. I know he's a UNC guy, but with the departure of Larry Drew, I've just watching some of his games and seeing his court vision and seeing his command at such a young age. Like I said, I know he's a UNC guy, but he has such a knack for the game, and it's interesting to see at that position, guys that can really go all out and really make a huge dent in the outcome of a game.
Absolutely.
And you were definitely an example of that when you played. Just a quick question, because I know time's running out. When you were in your car accident, and you were coming back, with rehabilitation, how do you feel just the game of basketball prepared you for, being able to tough it out? And how do you think your family, whether your dad, your brothers, played a role in that recovery pretty much?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm so happy to be with you, and Dove Men's Care has given me an opportunity to talk about my journey to comfort, and that was obviously a part of it, and dealing with that adversity. But I knew that I had the support of my family, by my side as I was going through that I wasn't alone. I'm proud that I got back out on the floor as a player in the NBA. I never accomplished all the things I set out to do in the NBA, but I was able to transition out of that now and become a parent and a father and someone that is very involved in my kids' lives. And now coaching with my brother is another opportunity to spend time with someone I care about and hopefully, build something special, with him at Wagner College.
Yeah. I'm going to let you go. You got any words of wisdom for a soon-to-be dad?
Well, you got to get the ball in the hand right away if you have, there's, and get ready to change a lot of diapers. That's an issue. In the middle of the night when you're half asleep, that was one of my fun jobs that I had.
Yeah. All right, Bob.
And if you don't mind, if I could just tell you about the sweepstakes quick. It's an opportunity. If you go to dovemencare.com, there's an opportunity to register to enter a sweepstakes with a chance to fly out to Los Angeles, go to a Laker game, and sit with Magic Johnson. And get a chance to meet him and spend time talking basketball with one of the legends of the game. And you could do that, again, at dovemencare.com.
All right, I appreciate it. I think everybody that'll be tuning in will definitely want to win that.
Sweet. Good deal.
So anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and best of luck with your kids and with Wagner College and your brother.
Thanks a lot.
And I appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you.
Great talking with you. Good luck with
Thanks.
everything. Bye.